You ever feel like you're so busy and you just can't catch up? Like life's demands are piling up faster than you can sort through them? You're not alone, and today we are going to unpack that feeling of being overwhelmed. Hey, I'm CJ, the host of Elevate with CJ, and in today's video, we're going to talk about being overwhelmed, and it's a warning sign to your body that you have been emotionally and mentally overloaded for too long. So let's unpack this. First, let's look at the causes of being overwhelmed. Number one are unrealistic expectations. So oftentimes we put expectations on ourselves and on our goals that are unrealistic. And sometimes we even place unrealistic expectations on ourselves by what we perceive that others think we should be doing or others think that we should be achieving. I've talked to many people in the mentorship program that have, when we drilled down of why they felt overwhelmed, it was because they were like, well, I don't want my family to think that I'm a failure. I don't want that the people that got mad at me or the business partner that split up with me think that I was the loser and I was the one that didn't succeed and I was the one dragging down the operations. And so that happens oftentimes in life. It could be with your parents, it could be with your friends, it could be with your family. That's why I tell people, if you're going to go set up a business, don't tell anybody, just go do it. And if you need like a mind group or a group of people that you want to bounce ideas off of, just bounce those ideas off of them and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. You don't need to tell them that you're starting a business. And because what happens is there's those out there that want to see you fail, and there are some that want to see you succeed, but most of the time they want to see you fail because they want to see that you put forth the effort and didn't succeed, and it kind of gives them an excuse for never trying. And so we can become overwhelmed by putting unrealistic expectations on ourselves by our perceptions of what others think about us. Another thing is lack of boundaries. So oftentimes we don't put boundaries up where we should put boundaries up, and that overwhelms us. Like somebody will come ask us to do this or help them out with, changing a tire on their car, and we've got tons of things we need to be doing. Somebody will say, well, your grass needs to be mowed, but you've got videos that you need to get out for YouTube or lessons that need to be taught, and you are out mowing the grass and you shouldn't be mowing the grass, and you've got enough money to pay somebody else to mow the grass, so pay them to mow the grass. So learn how to say no. No. We say no all the time. It's kind of funny. One of the things that I used to joke around with when I was a manager at Dillard's is I swear you could have walked up to anybody and said, hey, I'll punch you in the face with a sledgehammer, and they would just naturally, as they're walking through the sales floor, they would say, no, thank you, I'm just looking. It didn't matter what you said to them. You could say, I kicked you in the shins 14 times last night, and they'd be like, no thanks, I'm just looking. So we say no naturally to things when we think we're being sold to, but why can't we say no to friends or family or even people we don't even know, strangers? And when they're asking us for our help or they're asking us for to do something that's not important, that's not meeting our goals, sometimes you have to just say no. And now I'm going to say, if you're in a relationship with a girl or a guy, you can't say no all the time and put work first. But there's often times that you can explain that to them and say, hey, look, I need to really get this project done. It's overwhelming me, and I need to put a little effort into this. And if you would just give me an extra day or two, I'm going to concentrate on this. I'm going to get it done. And when I get it wrapped up, we're going to go spend time together. We're going to go do this project, or we're going to go hang out, or whatever the case may be. So we need to set those boundaries in our lives. And so if you're becoming overwhelmed, look at the boundaries and see what boundaries are being broken in your life. And the other thing about being overwhelmed is too much input. So we can be busy but not productive. So what I mean by that is you could be doing a lot of things, but you're not doing the right things. And that can cause you to be overwhelmed. You could be doing all kinds of research, and I'm bad about this myself. I will research stuff to death, and I'm like, looking, and I keep coming up with new ideas and new definitions and new projects, and before I know it, I've got a list of projects a mile long that, yes, if I accomplish those, would those be better for my business? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, there's only like one or two that should be my priority, and at the end of the day, I can only focus on one at a time. I've got to focus my priorities on one task, and once that task is complete, I can go back and prioritize and look at the other tasks that I've created for myself and find out which ones are the most productive items outcomes for my business or for my life. And so the other thing that there we go. The other thing that can cause us to be overwhelmed is just the having a cluttered environment. So if your environment is really cluttered and you've got all kinds of messes around you, if your workspace is messy, this can cause a feeling of being overwhelmed as well. A lot of guys that I know, they can work in those type of environments. I'm not one of those guys. I can't do that, because what happens with me, if there's a bunch of messes around, I'll either straighten them up right away because I can't work in that type of environment, or they distract me. I can't find my notes. I can't find my next flow. My flow and my energy just kind of seem to get dragged down when there's a messy environment. And so I have to make sure that I've got a nice, clean, neat, orderly environment. And that may not be you, but that may be you. And that may be a source of being overwhelmed, is just clutter and disorganization. So we've recognized some of the causes, and we know that the warning sign of just feeling overwhelmed is that we've reached our capacity. And so we go over the causes: unrealistic expectation, lack of boundaries, too much input, and a cluttered environment. So how do we identify the causes that we feel throughout the day? One of the things that I would suggest doing is trying to identify why you're feeling overwhelmed, is to journal every day. Just do it for 2 weeks. You don't have to journal all the time, though I recommend you do it, because it really does help build character and direct your path in life, and you can kind of see in black and white who you really are. But in this case, just for this subject of being overwhelmed, just journal at the end of the day, or even in the heat of the moment, when you start to feel that anxiety kick up and you start to get kind of dry mouth and your heart starts racing a little bit and you feel overwhelmed in the task. Take a moment, go to the bathroom, take a notebook with you, or use your notes on your phone, and start thinking about those 4 areas. The unrealistic expectations, is that something that's causing this feeling in me? Lack of boundaries, did I do this to myself and said yes to something I knew I shouldn't have said yes to? Too much input, I'm getting too much information, there's too many things to do, I can't focus on one task. Or a cluttered environment, is the environment so messed up and so disorganized that I just can't function in this environment? And write down your answers to those questions. And what you'll find is, over time, as you identify these and you journal these in your notebook or in your notes on your phone, is that you'll be able to identify these factors and start to eliminate them, and start to get more organized, and start to create boundaries, and to put tasks that aren't important to your goals and to your success off to the side. And you'll start realizing that the unrealistic expectations that you've put on yourself, or that you falsely have put on yourself by others, aren't real. And that's just how we think about it. So that's the end of this video. And in tomorrow's video, we're going to talk about how to reframe how you see being overwhelmed. And sometimes the pressure that we put on ourselves is just our interpretation of the situation. And so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to leave that for tomorrow. So we'll get together tomorrow and take a look at that. And remember, let's elevate together. Elevate with CJ.